Hello, my name's Amanda Ursel. I'm a nutritionist and I'm working with the At Work caterer at Charlton House to help them find ways of lowering salt in their cooking. We've done really well as a nation to reduce the amount of salt we are eating over the last 10 years, but we need to do even better if we're going to meet the daily target of 6 grams of salt maximum. Why is it important to lower salt? Well, it can impact on our blood pressure, lowering it within just 4 weeks of starting to lower the salt in our diet. And this can also have a knock-on effect of saving up to 8,000 premature deaths a year. Imagine the effect that that has on the families who are affected by those deaths. How do we do this? Well, by reducing the amount of processed foods we eat, that's incredibly important, and by lowering the amount of salt we use in our cooking. And Mark's going to demonstrate how to do this now with the fantastic Butternut Squash and Rosemary Soup, which uses no salt at all.
Hello, my name is Mark Taplin. I'm the head chef for Workplace Caterer at Charlton House here in Crawley for Virgin Atlantic. As part of our Wellbeing Being Well Healthy Eating programme, we are working to reduce the amount of salt we serve in our meals. It's not actually that difficult to cut down on the amount of salt you use in your cooking. You could try it in other flavours such as chilli, lemon and rosemary. The good news is it only takes a few weeks for your taste buds to adjust to reducing salt. So why don't you try and give it a go today, not put any additional in your cooking and not put it on your dinner table when you're serving it at meal times. So today the soup we're going to be making is butternut squash and rosemary bisque. Okay, so the first step to make the soup is pour your water into a warm pan. So now the water's come to the boil, we're going to add the diced onion. And a few cloves of garlic, whole. And now we're going to cook that for about 8 to 10 minutes until tender. Okay, so now the onion's been cooking and the garlic for about 8 to 10 minutes. It's nice and soft. So we're now going to add the butternut squash into the soup. I'm now going to add the rosemary. We leave it whole with the stalks because after the cooking process we're going to take it out before we puree it. It needs about 8 to 10 minutes to cook till it's nice and tender. Okay, so we're a few minutes away from the end of cooking, so we're now just going to take out the rosemary. So now the last thing I'm going to add just before we puree it is going to be the fresh red chilli. Again, you can put in as little or as much as you like. I'm going to put about 5 slices in just to boost the flavour a little bit. So we're now just going to check to make sure the butternut is nice and tender. The way we do that, pick up a few pieces on a spoon, put a knife, and as you can see, it's running straight through nice and easily, so it's nice and tender. And that tells me it's ready to be pureed. So as I said, we're about to puree the soup now. So we're going to put it into our blender, liquidizer. If you've got like a little Maggi mixer or a little hand blender, any of that will do. Make sure your lids are nice and tight. So as you can see, we've now passed the soup. It's a beautiful golden colour. It's got nice body, nice texture and a very nice flavour. Okay, so now we've got the finished article. It's time to taste it, make sure that you're happy with it. For me, I'd personally put a little bit of cracked black pepper into it. It doesn't need anything else. It's nicely seasoned with the natural flavours that we've been using. The other thing you could do to it, you could add some little pumpkin seeds or a few little leaves on top of it if you wanted to, but I'll keep it nice and simple as it is. The recipe is very straightforward, very simple, and hopefully easy to follow. So why don't you give it a go yourself, and then you can see how tasty the soup is, and surprise yourself by using no salt, how nice it actually is.